what you're really here for, are the lures. This is one of my favorites. Hold your breath, I got a bite. Don't mind me. Plenty of space here on the shore. Wait a minute. I recognize you. You're the one I gave that shelter to. How's it going? It's great to see you. What are you doing out here in Sunken Port? Pokemon trainer journey. I thought I should have known. How's that going for you? Couple of badges. Good, good. Shelter treating you good, I hope. I thought so. It's a fine Pokemon, like most water types are. Well, care to do a little fishing while you're here, like old times? Tell you the truth, I've actually had a bit of rotten luck so far tonight. Done nothing but lost lures, so I could use a little change of pace. Alright, yeah, sounds good. I'm actually heading up to my fishing shack just up the shore here. Yeah, I just need to reload lures and recollect before I start back. Care to join me? Alright, yeah, follow me. Well, my friend, this is it. The humble abode here in Sunken Port. It's not much, I admit, but it does the trick for me as I pass through here and there throughout the year on my fishing travels. I actually do fish Sunken Port a decent amount. It has a good population of slowpoke that are native to the area, as well as some great variety of ghost-type Pokemon, as I'm sure you can guess by the reputation of Sunken Port. But what I'm here for this time of year is a particularly shiny slowpoke that I've had reports has been spotted in the area, so I've had my sights set on that Pokemon for a long time, and hopefully this year's my year. But judging by the amount of lures that I've lost in the port so far tonight, it's not been my lucky day. But I always say that next cast might just be the one. So, would you like to take a look at the lures and such that I've got here in my lucky tackle box? I thought you might. Ever since we crossed paths, I could tell you had the glimmer of a fisherman in your eye. So, I'm always happy to share my knowledge with fishing enthusiasts such as yourself. Say, how's that good rod treating you? You haven't used it. Why not? Haven't had the time. My friend, there's always time for fishing, trust me. You never know when that next great fishing hole is right around the corner. I suggest not letting it pass you by. My old friend, I never grow weary of seeing you. This fishing tackle box has been with me, well, a long time. It's seen its share of great casts that, well, have seen better days, as well as some of the greatest catches of my life. But I'd say that some of the best memories are the ones that got away, believe it or not. Some of the greatest fish that you reel in, you never quite make it to the bank with, but that's part of the fun. All these old things. Well, believe it or not, a long time ago, I dabbled in the Pokemon trainer life. I think I mentioned that to you the last time we met. But I figured the old song and dance of gym battles, becoming champion, that whole thing just wasn't really for me. So I walked away and went on to greener pastures, fishing rod in hand. I've never looked back. These just more of paperweights at And sometimes I even attach them to the line and use them as a bit of a glint in the sun to attract some of those more pesky fish. But for now, they're just a little bit of decoration for the tackle box. So, yeah, I appreciate you asking. It's been a long time since I've had a chance to reminisce on days gone by. But that's not really important right now. What we need to look at are these lures that are going to help you make some use out of that good rod and hopefully help me capture that shiny slowpoke after all. You never know when you have need for a couple pieces of gold to buy a new lure, or maybe stock up on Pokeballs that you need to capture your Pokemon that you land. So I always suggest keeping some on you. Of course, spare Pokeballs, they fit in your tackle box better if you keep them in their miniaturized form, which of course I always do. But what you're really here for are the lures. This is one of my favorites. This I like to call the glimmering lure, or glimmer lure for short. This lure is best for slower, more docile Pokemon who aren't really keen to give a good chase to a real bright and flashy lure. Pokemon that are perfect for this kind of lure are Pokemon who really don't need a whole lot in terms of flash and frill in order to want to chase the lure. And this being a bit of a heavier lure, as you can hear with that kind of metallic material that it's made of. This is best for sinking down to the bottom and dangling right in front of that Pokemon. Allows the slower Pokemon an opportunity to kind of scope it out and see if it's something that they'd like to try. This lure is great for Pokemon like Slowpoke, hence why I have it in the #1 spot on the tackle box. Seal, Whalmer, Pokemon like that. It's also good for cold water fishing, since Pokemon in the cold water tend to move just a bit slower than Pokemon in warmer climates. So I always like to make sure that I have this lure with me if I'm up in the Snow Peak area or any areas in other regions that are cold. So this is a great lure, and you can't go wrong if you'd like to capture a Pokemon who might just be a bit slower paced. But slower paced doesn't always mean a less of a catch. Next, you'll really like this one. This is the Tropical Flare lure. As you can see by the name, it's got a lot more color than the Glimmer lure. It's a bit longer and has a more rotatable, shining tail here that attracts warmer water fish and Pokemon that tend to enjoy a bit of a chase before the capture. The bright colors tend to stand out in the clear and tropical waters. Like I said, this is best for warm climates, but even if fishing in some waters that aren't technically warm, it's great for fast Pokemon and Pokemon that are not really inclined to wait around for the Glimmer lure. So this lure is great for Pokemon like Seadra, Remoraid, Finian, Gorbis, love this one. Aracuda even are known from time to time to give chase. As you can hear, it has some really nice sounds that are really attractive to some of those quick fish. So that's why we tend to use it for those fast Pokemon. They hear that jingle and the bright color catches their eye, and usually you've got a good chance to Get yourself a good fish there. Yeah, you can hear that just a bit more. It's not too bad, even for human ears. This is great for the Alola region. I've done a lot of fishing up there. Caught a lot of great water Pokemon. But in case you need to maybe catch something with a little bit more bite, and something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more aggressive, this is what you're going to want to use. This is the Frilled lure. Yeah, you can tell already just by the sound that it's got a little bit more of a flair to it, and that sound really attracts those predatory fish that are just looking for their next meal. We use this kind of frilled skirt on the end to attract those predator fish. When they see that frill dancing in the water, they really can't help themselves to give chase and really give yourself a good chance for capture. We have some polka dots here on the side that just add to some of that intrigue, and that red mouth shape here just is a lot of the times irresistible for Pokemon like, well, Bruxish are great. Speaking of the Alola region, this is one of their favorites. Basculin love this lure, Huntail, Tentacool, and of course their evolutions and such. Any of those predator Pokemon, they really enjoy this one. Of course, this one does tend to do a bit better in warm water, but can also be used in colder water if given the right use and technique. But someone with, just a good rod might not really be inclined to utilize this in more challenging water types, such as, cold or temperate water. So if you're going to use a lure like this, I would stick to the warmer climates if you can. Alright, now this, I wouldn't suggest this for a beginner like you, but if you do want to get a little gutsy on me and try to land yourself a real danger of a Pokemon, then this is going to be the lure you're going to want to use. This we call the mirror lure. You could probably tell why. This large metallic structure here on the top acts as a mirror of sorts that, as it dances along the surface of the water, it kind of shakes back and forth. And that mirror catches the glint of the sunlight and reflects it down into the deep water. This is, of course, I should have mentioned before, this is meant for deep water fishing. You're not going to want to use this in shallows. This type of aggressive lure and bright, shining mirror is going to scare off most of your smaller, more docile Pokemon. Or curious Pokemon are going to run for the hills when they see this, because they know that lures like this attract big-time Pokemon. So you're going to want to use this in deep waters. It's going to shine down into those Pokemon deep below the surface. And as they see it, they're going to come up from those depths at some shockingly fast speed, so you better be ready. Now, we do have a double hook set up because oftentimes the aggressive Pokemon that are looking for this lure are going to strike so fast that they're going to break off your first hook, and you're really relying on the slim chance that your second hook does the trick for you. But in case it does, it's usually armored enough, as you can hear. This lure is built tough and really does a good job withstanding even some of the more aggressive hits from some of the more big-time Pokemon. So, what type of Pokemon can you look to capture with the mirror lure? Well, like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. You're looking at Sharpedo, Gyarados, Carvanha, Veluza, Pokemon like that. They can offer a nasty bite, and Pokemon like Gyarados and Sharpedo, they can be pretty dangerous. So, like I said, this isn't really a beginner lure, but if you do see it in a fishing shop or something like that, then, maybe pick it up and use it as a bit of motivation for later on in your fishing adventures. Or, like I said, if you want to get a little gutsy, I don't blame you. Have at it. So, any questions on anything like that, or any lures you'd like to try out today? Well, you want to try out the tropical flare lure? Of course, yeah, it's one of my favorites. I don't blame you. Yeah, the jingle on that lure's pretty good, and those Pokemon really just can't stand but, or I guess can't help but give it a look. And that mobility that it offers does a good job attracting, like I said, those lightning quick fish. So in this area, you're probably looking for Pokemon like Arrokuda, Seadra. Those Seadra don't mind the murky waters that tend to be in the area of Sunken Port. So you might have a good chance of hooking one, we'll see. But I think, I'm sure it's obvious, I'm going to be giving the old Glimmer lure a shot today. I had one on earlier. I've actually lost 2 in the port already today, so hopefully I get a little bit better luck now that you're with me. I know, I do believe you were my lucky charm last time, so maybe tonight will be more the same. I guess we'll see. But hopefully I can catch myself that slowpoke that I've been fancying all these years. We will see. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab a couple of these lures. And of course, if you need to borrow a Pokeball or something like that, I do have more specialty Pokeballs like the Lure Ball here. Of course, I've got my little model Lapras. My Lapras partner is, well, my bread and butter for traveling around islands such as the Lola chain or the Orange Archipelago. So I wouldn't go anywhere without it. Of course, this is just a toy to remind me of all the good times me and old Blue have had together. So, what do you say? We head back down to the shore and cast out a few lines. All right. Well, you need coffee or anything before we go? I always like to have a hot glass with me for these chilly nights in Sunkenport. It's really odd. It seems like even the warmest weather tends to cool off quite a bit in the evenings here in the Sunkenport area. No? You good? All right. Well, let's head out. All right. Let's see if we can change that look just a little bit. Got the lures back out in the water. Let's see what we can do. You can go ahead and let your Pokemon out of their Pokeballs to get a little exercise if you want. No, yeah, they won't bother me a bit. That shoulder probably will enjoy a little bit of sea air, even if it is Sunken Port. Still the ocean nonetheless. Yeah, see, I think they're enjoying themselves. Hopefully we can hook something here. Oh. Don't hold your breath, I got a bite. Got something on. Alright, watch this. Have your Pokemon stand back just a little bit. Doesn't feel like anything real big, but definitely got something on there. Oh. Well, not quite the shiny we were looking for, but a nice Pokemon nonetheless. Look at that. A nice slowpoke. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. It's not captured yet. It's still wild, but these slowpoke are so docile so that, usually you can hold them right out of the water. It doesn't even look like it knows where it's at, does it? Classic slowpoke for you, but this little guy here, as happy as can be. Sometimes even wild Pokemon, like a little bit of attention. What do you think? Your Pokemon seem to approve. Looks like they're happy to meet a new friend. You want to try to capture it, or you want me to? Well, to be honest, I'm just going to throw it back and let it swim off on its way. I'm just looking for shinies, but I'll let it get a little stretch of the legs and meet your Pokemon before we put it back. How about that? All right. Well, there we are. Now look at that. Getting along with your Pokemon just fine. Actually, I would just make sure your shelter doesn't get awful too close to it. Well, it looks like you've got yourself a Slowbro now, my friend. Yes, see, when Shelter clamps down on a Slowpoke's tail, it triggers an evolution, so the Slowpoke and Shelter have now become a Slowbro. And seeing as though that Slowpoke wasn't captured or anyone's Pokemon just yet, that Slowbro's all yours. Well, enjoy it. Slowbro are a powerful Pokemon after all, so it might just come in handy. I know you'll miss having your Shelter around, but such is the way of the life of a Pokemon trainer after all. You know all too well. I gotta admit, it's been a long time since I've seen a natural evolution of a Slowpoke, so I know it's a bit surprising, but consider yourself lucky. It's not every day someone gets to witness the beauty of Pokemon evolution the old-fashioned way. Congratulations on your new Pokemon. Enjoy. And take care of it as well as you took care of your Shelter. I know you will. Well, I would say stick around and do a little bit more fishing with me, but it's sometimes best once you get a freshly evolved Pokemon to take it to a Pokemon Center and get it checked out and make sure everything's in tip-top shape. So if I were you, I'd go ahead and head to the Sunken Port Pokemon Center, but I'm sure it looks healthy. I'm sure it's fine. But never can be too safe. All right. It was great seeing you again. And I tell you what, it's always exciting times when you're around, so stop by anytime. Of course, I bounce around quite a bit from place to place, so maybe you'll stumble upon my fishing exploits in the future. Yeah, well, you take care. Good luck on your battle. All right, friend. We'll see you.